everyone, so you've joined me again back at the boat. What I'm going to do today is get the cylinder out, the piston that's stuck into the cylinder. We'll try and get the crankshaft off. We'll take the harmonic balancer off, we'll take the flywheel off, get this thing completely stripped down, and if I've got time we'll try and hone it as well, ready to put the new cylinders on the next visit. So let me just show you what I'm doing at the moment. Taking off the harmonic balancer. And as you can see, it's exactly the same process as we did with the donor engine. We've got the puller on there. I'm tightening the bolt up in there against the crankshaft bolt. And it's actually withdrawing it from this section here. The gap here is getting bigger. So the harmonic balancer is coming off nicely. Once that's done, we're going to take off the flywheel. And when the flywheel's off, we'll start stripping down the oil pump and some of the internals. Okay, so I've just taken off the first two sets of shell bearings. The bearings themselves don't have very much wear on them at all. They're actually in really good condition. So no damage to these. What I'm going to do now is just push these pistons out of the block and just keep moving my way along the crank there. Okay, so let me bring you up to speed. I've managed to get the crank released now completely. That's now out of the engine block. I've started to take out some of the pistons. Most of them have come out okay. There's actually two that are seized. There's the one that we knew about, the one that was looking pretty bad on the top of the piston. And the one directly next to it as well is also seized in there. So I've just got a couple of hammers out and some chisels, and I'm going to have a go at just knocking these things through. So this is what she looks like. All of the bearing surfaces are in really good condition. Once I loosened up the bolts for the main bearings and the con rods, the crank actually turned quite nicely. The camshaft turns nicely on its own. As you can see, we've got one piston that is stuck at the bottom there. That's the one that you can see right in the center of the screen. And the one that's over to the side is actually the one that's the damaged one that's stuck at the top of the cylinder. So obviously the engine's inverted, so they're the other way around on this video. So what I'm going to do now is just use a cold chisel. I've been putting some heat on the outside of those cylinders, spraying some PB Blaster down there as well to hopefully get some of that in there. And hopefully if I can release the binding of the rings with a cold chisel, we should be able to push those through. All of the others are pushed out nicely, and the actual cylinder bores are in really good condition. Lots of oil in there still, but really great condition. Okay, let me just bring you into this cylinder. Not the prettiest job, but you can see I've managed to smash most of that apart. What I'm going to do now is use a cold chisel and just see if I can break those rings. So there we have it. Well and truly seized into that cylinder. Had to bash them apart, but it's out. That's all of the pistons are now out of the cylinder, out of the cylinder block. So the next step is to clear up all of this mess, get rid of all these damaged pistons, box everything up, tidy up, and then we'll be getting ready to re-hone this and rebuild. So back at the shop today, managed to get the crankshaft out of the engine. I've brought it back to the shop, gonna give it a good inspection, remove the flywheel and the pressure plate from the other side. So here we go. There you can see, actually weighs quite a lot. It was weighing down the car so much last night, the headlights were barely touching the road, but there we go. So yeah, so I'm going to give this a good inspection, have a look at those bearing journals, just make sure that they're nice and smooth, there's no nicks or dings or anything like that that might cause a problem. We're going to take the flywheel off. You can just see the oil seal on there. I've got new oil seals to go on the front and the back of the flywheel, of the crank. And then of course we've got the damper plate there, which is kind of like a pressure plate for a clutch. Obviously this doesn't use those, so we'll get that taken off as well. I think what I'll do is paint up the flywheel, give that a coat of paint. It's not actually doing anything other than rusting, so give that a quick lick of paint and then get that ready for reassembly.